And hello. I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to the next broadcast, April 29th. It's Monday for me, and we're discussing many issues in regards to the GCR, the Manna World Holding Trust, the Great Awakening and QAnon, and everything else that's all related. It's all interwoven, but we have a lot to, every day, more and more things are coming about. And one of the themes that we've been focused on over the last week is really about the Great Awakening of the people in the deep state, the people that are in the process of analyzing where are they fitting in this, whose side are they on? You know, there's a lot of people just been going along with the program, right? Because they assume they're on the right side of things. You know, when I was working in the GCR and running around the world getting historical bonds lined up, I was on the right side of things. You know, for me, it was the war between the white hats and the black hats. You know, I was on the white hat side. Everyone I knew was in the white hat side. But what was actually behind the scenes going on was unknown. What could it be that was really going on? You know, was it really a dastardly plot? Yes, it was. And things did not start. It didn't make sense on a lot of fronts. The extreme evaluations that they put on, say, $100 trillion Zimbabwe bill that you could pick up for $40. But after the revaluation, it's $100 trillion. Oh, it's only 16 cents per dollar. Okay, well, that's fine. It was only 16 trillion. So the numbers just didn't make any sense because, you know, looking at, you know, the GDP of the world compared to the whole world's GDP, you know, you're getting that all in one little piece of paper, and now that's yours, and you're going to now redeem it. 100 trillion. So those numbers didn't work. So I was always thinking, well, there's going to be, the way I envisioned it, and said that it was a possibility because no one could give me the answer. It was hidden behind the scenes in the planning. Is that the only way to handle such a large debt in the world was to make it so tiny compared to the evaluation. So if your evaluation is much bigger, it's easier to wipe out this debt. So, okay, all right. But it didn't happen, right? The GCR kept being pushed back. I actually was just speaking with my Chinese partner just before getting on. That's why I'm a little bit late, a couple minutes. And going over some of these things, it's hard to get them to know the information that I'm now revealing is that what we were doing there was for nefarious purposes, right? How do you explain this through the language barrier in a way that can travel? And there was warnings coming from the Chinese side, from the upper, people saying, stay away from this, So there is a battle behind the scenes that we don't know, and to recognize the side that you're on is very important. To know that you're a good person, right? You're out there doing what you think is right. But is killing off 90% of the population the agenda you're upholding? And if you're in the 10%, right? Obviously, if you're in the 90%, you're not going to be. But you're in the 10% that's going to be saved, right? Do you really think they're going to save you? Really? That's you're really part of the group that they're going to save. Have they ever honored anything that they've said? No. So trying to explain this to my Chinese partners is difficult on one hand, but we're having at least a conversation about how to express this. I'm literally going to have to write some letters to explain the way that the way things have shifted in a way that makes sense, and explain to them, this is where the asset is, that they've lost control. That's why the GCR hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen. So this is a time for you, though, to decide how you're going to take action. You're sitting there in in government or in banking or somewhere within the infrastructure, and you've been on the side of letting this agenda of the New World Order depopulation agenda proceed. You know what's going on, or even if you don't want to look at it, you've heard about it. It's time to wake up and stand up for the rest of humanity. Change your once you realize you've been doing something wrong, the worst thing you can do is continue to do it. So stop it. Yeah, thanks, Tank. Stop it. Stop it. As Bob
Newhart. Yep.
Bob Newhart. I love that. I should bring up that that little skit.
Yeah, sound clip. Sure.
So and change and make. I assure you, out there in the GCR world, I had way more at stake than you. Yeah, really. Would I want the GCR to happen with all of this that I had brought to the table? Sure. I'd want it to happen, right? Because then I could go out and do all those wonderful things. But if it meant that it's now going to mean 90% of the population is dead, phase one of killing off everybody.
Phase one.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, then, no, I really don't want that to happen. So if you don't want that to happen, it's time for you also to change. Realize now we've got the U.S. military has changed. They realized, they woke up and they said, "Oh, really? Well, we thought we were doing the right thing. Let's make strategic planning on how do we get out of this mess? How do we release the funds?" So anyway, do you have any update for us on that, Tank?
Nothing that I can share at this time as far as everything's go, but I will, I'll probably repeat this on the on Blog Talk, but I will say that if you look at the events, you are down to human interference, right? So they've identified 3 characters who are employed by Hillary Clinton or controlled by Hillary Clinton, and Hillary Clinton is operating as the head of the Blue Dragon family out of England. Yeah. The Blue Dragons being, English, and which I didn't know. Apparently, Hillary just doubles down there. And so these 3 characters were basically calling banks everywhere and they were telling them not to clear the funds that were transferred from the Pentagon or from the Manna World Holding Trust. Included in these three is Steve Mnuchin, and then he was missing, but I heard yesterday that he was in fact in China negotiating a trade deal, which that's not true. So he's probably there coming up with another plan to do exactly the same thing that they've been doing with the Chinese elders slash the Eastern version of the Rothschild family. I'm not sure which color dragon they are. Yellow dragons, maybe. Gold dragons.
I'm just thinking back, to other administrations. Did you ever hear of the Treasury Secretary going anywhere in the world?
Never.
Anything?
But he seems to be on his.
Yeah. Good.
No, he's just on his own path, right? He does whatever he wants. Even when he's told not to do something, he goes and does it. I've never seen more direction from the president that is openly ignored than I have now. I've never in my life heard of a State of the Union address where the Democratic Party thought, before they even knew what was going to be said, they had already planned their comments and their speech to go on right after. They had already they even pre-recorded what they were going to say before the speech was even finished, saying the hateful rhetoric before it even came out. I've never seen anything more transparent, more obviously disgusting than what has been happening under President Trump's watch ever in my life. But here's the great news, right? So this is to speak volumes about what Kim and the team up there, working with Manna directly, what they've accomplished in this whole process, because the entire banking system has been completely revolutionized. The former issues right now, they're coming down to just people. They don't have other ways to block anything. It's just people that are in the way. And obviously, if the Department of Treasury calls you and tells you not to clear something, okay, that might have some weight. That could stir up a problem. However, in the war system, which we have been dominated by, I think the Pentagon trumps the Treasury, right? So if the Pentagon goes into the Department of the Treasury, which I highly suspect will happen, and removes those two individuals, or if those two individuals right now, someone in the Treasury, I guarantee, is listening right now, and they know who those other 2 or 3 individuals are, I can guarantee you that they know not to come to work tomorrow, because and then therefore there should be nothing blocking us, right? That's what I would imagine. So,
they know not to come to work tomorrow. That's interesting.
Well, I think it would be wise on their part. It would be wise for you not to come to work, and well, actually, I don't know what you should do. I don't care what you do. You are controlled by an evil woman who wants to destroy humanity. So what you do, I don't care, because all I care about is the people that we're able to get money for projects that we can start to rejuvenate the planet. So, but it really comes down to that's the only real blockage, right? And just to further, demonstrate the kind of control the quantum system has, that there were 2 satellites this past week, that tried to interfere with the quantum system, and those 2 satellites no longer exist. So they have been vaporized.
Really?
So yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So, is there a news article on particular satellites that we could look at? I've not been checking into that sphere of.
I haven't looked into it, but I do know those satellites are gone.
Okay.
Also, in just to further emphasize what a big deal this is, because this was reported in the news that Trump had taken the security codes, the security clearance level for the SES, the Senior Executive Service, and given that over to the
military.
The Department of Defense, given over to the military, and we had some of our contacts inside of the Black Ops teams inside the Pentagon who confirmed that. So that is an absolute fact. So that is pretty exciting, and that's a much bigger deal than probably a lot of us realize. So
it's hard for people to imagine that there's this truly invisible management system above the government that basically goes ahead and inserts their people, right? to wherever they want within the agencies or departments, and they can just go in with impunity and assume control, and they'll do whatever they say. The system has been co-opted to such an extent that there's no real say, final say, by the department heads, by the agency heads. There's people that will come in above them and just take over. It's so hard. I mean, this is not just the United States. This is across the world. Now, they're probably called different things in different countries, but the existing this structure, this invisible government that's worldwide, the New World Order, exists, and it was just that it was invisible to everybody. And when George Bush Sr. talked about the New World Order, you know, it was already in existence in his world, right? It's just that the rest of the sheeple didn't know that it existed. Right, and so it's just now we can see that these things are being now brought to light, that they do exist, and now there's action being taken. Trump has taken action and moved their security clearances to the Department of Defense. Is that what they moved the security clearances? Oh, I lost Tank. Sorry, can't ask him if he's not there. So those things are very hard for people to accept. That there's literally. I mean, you're an American, and it's the most powerful country in the world, and the government is very strong. But to think that there's actually a super government above them that already exists. It's not something that we're going to be merged into, or something around that they're going to build, and that this is how we're now going to do it in the world under our United Nations. No, it exists already, and we have the department or not department, the I don't know what they call it, a senior executive service that is sets their own salaries, cannot be fired. Has no president can fire them. Can you imagine? That it's who are they under? They're not under the executive branch. Who are they, and why do they have rights to come over top? It's the same reason why Trump pulled back, from what Obama set up to basically give the UN say over arms in America. So if the UN was called in case of an emergency, a worldwide calamity, economic collapse of the United States, and they came in with the blue helmet troops, they had the authority to take away your guns, right? A superior ruling force, subservient, making the U.S. subservient to that other group. So this is something that is very difficult for people to comprehend. And then what do you do about it, right? It's also at this age is so big. How can anybody do anything? Well, as Thomas William likes to point out, look at what happened to Monsanto, right? Look what the people did around the world in different countries because they stood together. And they said no. We can take some of our cues from Gandhi cues. So we could take, and Gandhi was basically, his whole movement was based around one concept, non-cooperation. Do not cooperate and tell them to go to the door, leave. Point to the door. There it is, over there, leave. We're not cooperating. We will not contract with you. Go away. Free will. Go away. Stop contracting. That was in today's language, right? Non-cooperation is what Gandhi did. Yes, it took him, a lot of going around the country and preaching peace, not armed conflict, Do not engage in armed contract with them. Now, of course, if they're fighting you, then you have a tendency to try and defend yourself. Get that. But that's what they're trying to do, is goat people into it. That's what Antifa, they wear masks and they come in and they cause fights, right? So this is something that is very prevalent in the world, to try and get people to fight, because in that it gives them the ability to come in with the UN blue helmeted individuals to say, "Oh, we're here to keep order." But now we can look at that's not going to happen in America. That's done. Trump pulled that back, signed it right on stage. We showed it right here. And of course, that episode disappeared from YouTube, right? It wouldn't be displayed. I re-recorded it and reposted it yesterday. Only 2 hours of it can I see. Half an hour of it is completely unaccessible. And it's unacceptable that it's inaccessible. But what can we do but try and work our way around the obstacles that are thrown at us? So what can you do? You can participate. You can do it and spreading this information. Subscribe, share this link, and then share this link, and then share it again. Share these videos. When you find something, find a time code. I started talking about, Tank starts talking about, Tui started talking about something that really caught your attention. Focus in on that one little section. Say, hey, look at this at this point at 1 minute and 32 seconds. Look at what it was said. At an hour 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Look there. This is what is said. And you post that, put it in your emails, talk to your friends, let them know, and ask them to spread this information, to subscribe, to give positive feedback, give thumbs ups. This helps get the word out. That's one step. Another step, do your own little videos. Participate, join up, come in and ask questions. Do you know that has a very big impact on the people that are literally watching this, is when you decide to actually call and talk with us. Now, you know what? Tank must have gone on to Blog Talk. I hope. Yeah, let me go ahead and see if Blog Talk is up and running. Well, we got like three minutes left, so let me just see if he sent the link. Yeah, he hasn't sent the link yet, but he's about to. All right, I'm launching that. Get it ready. Well, we'll just keep going here. Yeah, a revenge of this cough that came back at me started yesterday. Lasted for 2 weeks and then got rid of it for about a week, and then it came back again. My goodness. So what you can do when you participate by coming on and calling in, right? So you can call in on Blog Talk. I'll share that screen with you as well. So and the link. So let me go ahead and share that right now, so we're on the same page about this. Present to everyone. There we go. So the link is here. This is the one. I'm going to post this. If someone wants, they can use this. And when you get to this page, you click on this. Well, actually, I don't know if you click on that. Let me see the link. I'll just go. I'll post this. Sorry. Figure this out. I'll get to our chat there. I'll just go. I'll post this. Sorry. Muted. Push pause. Further. So there is a link. So once you get there, you can put your name in. Why is it not accepting my name? Interesting. Zoom back. Experiencing technical difficulties, huh? There should be a button that pops up there. Maybe it can't happen until he gets it started, which should be right now. Let's see, maybe we just have to wait a little bit. Anyway, we're just getting the hand of this simulcasting thing that's going on, so let's give it a moment and see if that comes up. There is also a phone number to dial as well. Again, that'll come up, after. Oh, there it is, right down here. This is a U.S. number, 646-721-9771. Not yet. So try a reset like this. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a moment. Maybe that's interfering. See if that will work. It says it's on the air. I'm just playing the audio to see if it's actually, so I can hear what's going on, if it's actually started or not. Still not showing me that. I think it's because of the music. That's what it is. Let's see. So it seems like the music may have stopped now. No, it's continuing. So it's just loading. Anyway, we will figure this out. I'm gonna stop that right now. Wait for this. I think I'll just go ahead and share my screen again. So I think that's what it is. It's just not ready for me to join. It's okay. We figure it out step by step. That's live video, right? When you're doing live broadcasts, it's much different. So we'll see when this is rolling here. So anyway, where did we leave off? a little diversion here. Well, I guess one of the themes is really working and having action take place, manifesting, is when we are taking action and doing things like participating in these videos. So that's why I said you can do something. You can participate. You can make your own video, right? And then, ask us to come on your show. It's okay. We'll help. We want to get the word out. That's what's important, is for this to expand and get into, and we support each other. We come together. It's not about me. It's not about Tank. It's not about you. It's about all of us coming together. So if you do a broadcast, I'll support you. I will come on. I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about in regards to this. You participate and come on here. That helps. And for those of you that are out there in the system that are, again, seeing these transfers ready to come through, what happens if you let it go through? Can you imagine? The world changes at that moment. Wouldn't it be great if you're the one that allowed the whole world to start receiving the funds for projects. Billions of dollars start flowing through, trillions of dollars start flowing through into the hands of the people. Can you imagine what an impact that has for the good of all? Don't buy into their agenda. They've been lying. You think this world is overpopulated? You ever take an airplane ride? If you took everyone and gave them, I think it's 1 acre, and put them in, you can take everyone on the planet and stick them in Texas with their own piece of land. We're not overpopulated. It's just part of the agenda as the Iron Martin report is saying, they have to create the enemy, right? It's a war machine, but the enemy is the environment, and the enemy is us. We're the ones that have to actually literally take action to stop this. We're the ones that have to stand up and say, enough is enough. We have to stop. Let me check this again, see if I'm able to log in here. I'm not able to log in. Let me. I'm going to try to log in directly as, a host. Let's see if that works. I see that it's rolling, and there's some people that have jumped on, but it doesn't appear that I can. So let's see. Okay. All right. Just still trying to get here. It's not letting me log in. I'll try the link again. See if it changes anything. Hmm. No. Let's see. Oh, see, the thing is, if I call Tank, it'll bump him off the line. I don't know what to do there. We could continue on our own here, and see, but I can't seem to call. I can't connect. It doesn't give me the button. I do not know why. Let's see. I'll send him a text. It does. He asked me to come on. It does not give me the button to connect after entering my name. So that's. I think I'll go. I'll go ahead. I'll share my screen. Maybe he can look at it. I don't know if he can see at the same time or not. So here's the screen. You see, I've entered my name, and usually after that, there's a big pink button that appears just below where it says "Enter your name," and I click on that, but it's not working. So reset it again. Yeah, nothing there. Yeah, it's not happening. Anyway, yeah, I can't connect from that screen. Yeah, and Tank doesn't know. So anyway. Mm-hmm. Stop sharing. Okay. I could put on the audio again. Okay, let's try that.
Report. So in this report, what it talks about is it's replacing the war system which is the social structure that has been used to control everything that we know. And what it does is it breaks down the options or the other ways, or the alternatives to war. So this is where it picks up in the second paragraph there. It's on page 53. It says, another possible surrogate for the control of potential enemies of society. Now, I'm going to break this down as we go. So society, right? So this is this whole idea behind society, the way that they're analyzing it. It's just like the civilization mission that they set out to accomplish in India, when India was essentially cut off from the rest of the quote-unquote civilized world. And when Britain came in there, they went in and they said there's nothing we can offer these people, much like the movie Avatar, right? Because everyone was thriving. It was a spiritual culture. Everyone had what they wanted, what they needed. And they were enlightened and they were at peace, right? And there was no need for the idea of civilization, but to implement civilization, that required war, right? So what they're talking about here, another possible surrogate for the control of potential enemies of society. So if you don't want war, you're an enemy of society, is what it's saying. It's the reintroduction in some form consistent with modern technology and political processes of slavery. Up to now, this has been suggested only in fiction, notably in the works of Wells, Huxley, Orwell, and others engaged the imaginative anticipation of the sociology of the future. But the fantasies projected in Brave New World in 1984, which all of us are familiar with Brave New World in 1984, and we often make very similar comparisons to what's happening in our world right now. This is, in fact, the idea of the nonstop observation of people, the invasion of our privacy to actually allow the government to, according to the Patriot Act, right? This is why part of why September 11th happened, is they implemented the Patriot Act, and then the government became like Big Brother in 1984. So, and these ideas have become less and less implausible over the years since their publication. The traditional association of slavery with ancient pre-industrial cultures does not blind us to its adaptability to advanced forms of social organization, nor should its equally traditional incompatibility with forms of with Western moral and economic values. All right, sorry, it's a little small on my phone here. It is entirely possible that the development of a sophisticated form of slavery. Now, first of all, there is no such thing as a sophisticated form of slavery, right? Because currently, that's what we're in right now. It's public slavery. That's what they're calling a sophisticated form of slavery. And they're saying that may be an absolute prerequisite for social control in a world at peace. So, in other words, up to this time, war was the social control. That's how they controlled our behavior, to get us to do whatever it is they wanted us to do. And what they're talking about is, in place of war, they can introduce slavery. Now, how could they possibly introduce slavery? We never let it happen. Well, currently, even with human trafficking, there's more slavery than there's ever been in history. That's one. Number two, they introduced such massively crushing debts and control the message that we are slaves to debt, right? We don't own our own land. We don't own our own cars. We don't even own our own names. So they've essentially created slavery. Now, this is one of the methodologies used and described in this Iron Mountain report, right? So this is part of what's happening in our society. The Iron Mountain report really breaks this down. Like I said, you can go to the speakproject.net and you can see it there under must-see essential documents, and you can get a better understanding of how this is really guiding everything you see. And when you realize that part of this system has always been designed with slavery. Now, the other aspects of the same report are the idea that basically that you'll have to create an enemy to replace war, right? So one enemy we can all, these different enemies we can fight against. So one of the things they talk about all the way back in 1967 when this was first, decided on, is they talk about pollution and how you can create the environment. But they said outright it would take a couple, 2.5 generations to make it so the environment was really a viable enemy that we could all, fight for. Because what would have to happen is everybody in the world would have to agree to take similar actions to bring that together. Now, in and of itself, that's not a bad thing. The problem is they also decided that you would need to reduce the population dramatically to even have a structure in this global reset whereby you could control the population without war, right? So first you have to depopulate. So you have to create these massive reasons for depopulation, and that's part of what they've done. So I'm going to try again to see if 765 actually wants to talk. 1 second. Maybe not. Is this Janet? So 310. Who's this? That is no one. Hang on 1 second. Hey guys, if you call in, just stay on the line for me so in case I call you out. 765, are you there? 765, are you there? Well, I'm not having much luck with that. I'm waiting for my co-host to come on board so we can have a little conversation. But so, anyways, so in addition to this Iron Mountain report, you're watching these things play out right in front of you all the time. So, what are the options? The global currency reset was always designed in this way. It was designed to spark and really finish off the U.S. dollar, right? And what is described, again, this document for the you have the Singleton document, which is also on the speakproject.net, and you can go there and check that out. And if you go to the Singleton document, it actually explains the global currency reset. And this was signed off by every country in the world. And the whole idea, the pieces that are kept out of this, is that eventually you'd have all of the currencies on the planet would equalize, which is the way it should be, by the way. And that is very logical. What they don't explain is the sinister parts of this. They don't explain that there'd be a revaluation first where the currencies would be at a contract rate, massively inflated rate, where that would benefit mainly the Chinese, because this would be a transition from the black dragons in the west to the Chinese dragon families in the east. And this is part of the contractual agreement. This is also what they mean when they talk about the peaceful transition of power. It's actually a peaceful transition of power from the west to the east, okay? And that's what they've been working on and trying to implement for some time. So in this peaceful transition of power, they plan to devalue the dollar. So for the past, probably 80 years or so, they've been devaluing the dollar, right? Now, what would happen with the global currency reset is everything would have been honored in dollars, right? So they would have been taking these Zim and the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnamese dong, and I think the rupee, and they would have taken these currencies that are in fact dramatically undervalued because of war and because of suppression and because of massive overinflation, and they would have taken those currencies and they would suddenly make them equal to the dollar or more than the dollar, and then we would be paid out in these massive numbers of money, right? And there was so much money, and what they always sold us on was these are going to be backed by assets that are in the ground, and Zimbabwe is so rich in these assets, it's incredible. Now, this is true. Zimbabwe is rich, very rich in assets, so is all of Africa. And Africa has been beaten down significantly by the order. They've done this because of the, just for various reasons, because they fear what is possible with a strong Africa, and also to really make sure that no one can get access to the real nutrients and the wealth held therein. But there was never, not if you took everything on the planet, would there be enough to support the revaluation of the $100 trillion Zim notes, at 1 to 1, or even at a penny. It would just, there's not enough wealth in the world. So if they had the global currency reset, what would happen is you would have the beginning would be the economic crash, right? So you'd have a crash of the economy. Now, when the economy crashed, you would have massive panic, right? And then you would enable
Blog Talk Radio.
because the assets would not
Welcome
be
to Blog Talk Radio.
They do not
Please hold
have
and you'll be able to listen to the show.
And the reason why he had the absolute final say on every international document you've ever seen, every international treaty, he was always the one who had the final say on everything. So it didn't matter what the document said because there was always a dictator, at least for the past 16,000 years or so. So in this, what would happen is there would be an economic crash, and then what would happen? Now, the options in the GCR document say that either the currency will be asset-backed or we'll do away with paper currency altogether, and it'll only be digital currency. Anybody who hears that and reminds you of the rapture we were told about when we were kids, that's because that was always the plan. So, they would make everything digital, and then the banking system itself would
Hello,
be
Tank?
the absolute final say.
Tank, can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yep, I can hear you.
Well, I had to do a big workaround to get on the air. The
Really?
link that you sent me, it normally gives me a place to put my name in, and then a big pink button appears below it, right? And I press that and I connect. No button would appear. Yeah. So what I did was I called in. So I'm one of those 111 numbers that is on in the panel there. I unmuted
Really?
myself, so that's how I got on. But I called in through a different Google account using Google Hangouts. So I'm on 2 Google Hangouts.
Very innovative.
Yeah. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, coming in on one Google account, and on the other Google account, I'm broadcasting on YouTube through. So yeah, sorry.
I love it. I love
Sorry
it.
about that. I don't know how well I sound, if it's okay, but it seems to be working.
Actually, you sound great. You sound better. You sound better in this way than normal.
Oh, okay, good.
So yeah, I was just kind of breaking down the State of the Union as far as where we're at.
I've heard you. I've been
read a little
listening.
piece of that.
I am broadcasting what you've been saying.
Okay,
All the so about 2 minutes in, but yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So yeah, man. So I'm fascinated by this time we're in. Things we were just talking about. So I'm leading up to where we're at, and just to reiterate and repeat exactly what the State of the Union is, that the Manna World Holding Trust, the current trustee, who we affectionately call Kim Possible, she is making it possible for all of humanity to be liberated, for projects to be funded, and I know anybody who's out there who's had a project that is near and dear to their heart, that is something they've wanted to bring out, they wanted to make something magical, and they know it can change the world, that you have probably been suppressed. You probably started to get funding and had lots of people promise funding, and lo and behold, the money never comes, right? Because they were waiting on one thing or another, usually the global currency reset, or they just didn't really have access, or they're waiting on the United Nations, which has only ever funded about 1.5% of all their projects, meaning they've never funded any of their projects. And so with that in mind, this is the pathway that you will finally have, that you can actually get your project funded. And you can find out about that. You can go to createchange.today, KRE8, the word change, .today, and then gocamelot.com, and you can go there and you can submit your project, and we have a team there that will set up a trust for you, and bring you into that organization. We have a whole project planning network of people that are actually, professional program project designers. They work very well with each other. And you can network with people all around the world to access the best technology, the best methodology, people with more experience than you and people with less that you can help. So that is the idea behind project planning through that system. And the Guardian of Camelot is actually a tax-exempt, unincorporated business association, and we're using that as a way to just not be part of the UCC system that is currently or has been governing the world. And with that in mind, we're bringing in funds with that as soon as possible. We've been doing it. The funds are currently in the banks, and there's just a few rogue elements at the Department of the Treasury that are standing in our way. And on our side right now, we know that the Pentagon has come aboard, and they're supporting us to help clear those transfers. The president has endorsed us. The most powerful individual on the planet is actually Kim. She is the sole sovereign on the planet. And various other organizations, every treasury in the world has cleared this money to be legal and clean and clear. Every intelligence agency on the planet has cleared this money to be clean and clear, and for the trustee and all parties involved to also be clean and clear. And in all aspects, there is absolutely no reason except for criminal intent that this money has not cleared our accounts already. So you cannot hold back that much amazing for too long. So we are breaking through, and we expect that to happen. And currently, the State of the Union is, most recently, there was 2 satellites that tried to take down the trust or try to interfere with the quantum mapping system, which Kim Possible is in control of, and those 2 satellites have been destroyed. And there will be consequences, obviously, if you continue to resist the benevolence and the freedom and the liberation of humanity. If anyone resists on that, there has to be consequences. This is not a threat in any way. This is just a fact. It's just a karmic fact. It's just inevitable, right? Like if you smoke too much, you'll probably get cancer, right? These are just things that happen. So right now, humanity is on the rise, and we are liberating ourselves and standing up together. And we are in full support of what Kim is doing. And she is taking a stand for all of humanity as well. So that's kind of where we're at. So Dan,
we have
what's on your mind, man?
Well, I just say that the karma is just a law of metaphysics, right? It's cause and effect, just like in the Matrix films, right? When they had the Merovingian, right? He said cause and effect, right? He feeds the woman the dessert and causes an effect. So when we're
that's right.
When we're talking about people changing things that are as they are right now, people that are in the system that have the ability to allow the funds to flow through, just think what would happen if one of them allowed all of those funds to flow through to the projects. The effect would be tremendous.
Well, and you know what I love about that? Like, these projects are coming to a town near you, right? I mean, these are not like projects that are far off in the distance. Someday they'll help you. These projects are impact projects, right? We used to talk about something called impact investing, right? These are impact investment projects, right? They're designed to come in and literally address a specific issue, a problem, a concern, something that deals directly with the quality of life and education of your kids, the longevity of your family, the wealth made available in your town, the opportunity to be healthier, to live longer, to be stronger, to be more intelligent, to learn how to fly, whatever it is. These are immediate impact projects. So anybody in that system right now, anybody in the banking system today and tomorrow, you're getting ready to go in to do your, to work the wire transfer, and you know that there is a fraudulent calls that are leaving from the Department of the Treasury. There is 2 people. Well, the other one, there was 3. The third one is currently in China. Now, I don't think he's going to call them. But if Steve Mnuchin calls you, believe me when I tell you, he's been fired. Now, here's the option. It's either Steve Mnuchin or the Pentagon. If Steve Mnuchin calls and tells you, don't clear the transfers from the Pentagon, hang up the phone. You can just pretend that you can't hear him clearly if that helps you. Right? Just be like, you can start to crumble some paper near the phone and be like, sorry, Mr. Mnuchin, I can't hear you. Click. You just hang up the phone. You gotta, it's just a better move for you. Just a better move. I'm trying to give my options, man. These are hard decisions people are making. Listen, when it comes down to protecting your family, if there's a threat on your family, and it was Steve Mnuchin that made the threat, or Hillary Clinton, right? So, listen, Hillary Clinton isn't even Hillary Clinton. She's just the clone of Hillary Clinton. She doesn't even know what she's doing. And to the idiots who are supporting her, listen, they have no soul. They have no soul. You don't even worry about a threat from someone who has no soul. They don't have any power to do anything. They don't have the money to do anything. They can't hurt you, right? The only way they can hurt you is they can get you in legal trouble if you listen to them. So avoid them at all costs. They are not in control of the banking system. They are not in control of the Department of the Treasury. As a matter of fact, neither of those two individuals are even employed anymore by governments, actual government. I don't know if there's a corporate position or whatever it is the two of them are now. I know Hillary was Pindar for a little while. And now I guess she's over the Blue Dragon family. And Steve Mnuchin is the chosen one. So whatever that means, because I'm not sure why anyone. I feel like if you're the chosen one, shouldn't you have like powers or something? I can't see any powers that Steve Mnuchin has. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's any powers. So anyway, just a little side note, just on the back to our connection problem. The link that you sent me, right? When I click on it, it takes me to the Speak Project Radio. It usually shows on the air. I think the link you sent is not correct because it doesnn show I'm on the air.
How interesting.
Right, so that's why I don't get the big pink button. So and I actually had reconnected from making myself a host again, a co-host from and I clicked on the link in there that was already there for me, right? And it still takes me to this same page. So there's a problem with that link. That's why it's not showing. It's not showing that we're even on the air on that, according to that broadcast. So I don't know what that means, but maybe there's clowns having fun.
I just said, yeah.
Say again?
Yeah, I sent you another one just to see. I sent you another link just to check it out, see if it's the same one.
All right.
Yeah, so I expect this,
Same
this is
one.
kind of the MO, right? Like make it very difficult and make us look like a couple of idiots. We can't figure out the simple radio show. Listen, come on, you suck. We're gonna broadcast every day. You can do whatever you want. I'll broadcast from a transistor radio right in Manhattan. I'll come in, whatever we have to do. We're gonna get this message out. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm raising carrier pigeons right now.
I know what you're doing.
I'm raising carrier pigeons.
Okay,
I'm raising carrier pigeons right now.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll just communicate by carrier
That's right.
pigeon. Yeah. Try and stop that.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can't stop carrier pigeons. The most feared source of communication on the planet, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
the other form of
I get it,
secure
though,
sorry. The other form of secure transmission that they're using right now is Twitter. So James Comey has just put out a code to call for a new fake flag to come out because there's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's he's giving like 5 reasons. But if you take it and look at it, it's very obvious that he's calling on for there to be something at it was figured out actually by X22 that he put it up and analyzed it and said this is obviously going after this Catholic school. So his report is coming out this week, right, on Comey. So we're going to see a lot of more gyrations coming. So he needs to get something into the news cycle to get it off of his report when it comes out.
Yeah, Comey really rubs me the wrong way too. 'Cause, this is the thing that's really amazing, and they are, for the most part, they're excellent actors, and they act like they're just so arrogant. They're like, "What? This is ridiculous. How could anyone?" They're just so convincing with the way they talk.
He's literally like 7 feet tall, right? So he's a mini giant. So he's
he's a big guy.
So, and he's probably has the Nephilim DNA in him, bloodline.
Yeah, I think it's Anunnaki or something, right? Like they're bred to play these roles or something. I don't know that. I don't know what's what.
No, I know. It's just there's no way to know this directly at this point, but it's just he's very much above everybody, right? His attitude. Every time I see him, he's always very arrogant and they call him a bishop or something like that. Look like a cardinal. What do they call him in the FBI when he was there? They were calling him like the bishop or the cardinal, like he's holier than thou.
Wow, they got that really wrong, huh? I mean, like he is definitely not. Like he is. It's not something to laugh at, but you almost have to just make, you have to make light of it a little bit, just to not let it consume you. But anybody who's taking orders, from Hillary Clinton, right?
Right.
That is not a derogatory term. That she is a witch. She's part of a coven group, right? She is also, I would say, I guess, a vampire. It is documented and been seen. Even her clone, which, by the way, to the scumbags who, like, I don't know how you can live to yourself, the guys who brought that little girl to Hillary Clinton and Huma Aberdeen and walked away from that room thinking that they were there just to bond, right? Because that little girl never left the room. But, it's known that she feeds, on adrenochrome, right? Even her clone does, right? So they would rather have a clone in place and support that than support the life of a child. That is a harsh reality, but it's very true. So that's the reality of what we've been up against, right? But you have to laugh at people like Comey, right, who are loyal to that. What does this little 5'2" clone have over Comey, the 7-foot giant of who you would just think would be such an impressive figure for our law enforcement? Like, what a guy, like this guy is the ambassador of he's the head of the entire of the most important legal agency on the planet. You would think, but instead he's just one of the bad guys.
Yeah,
he's part of the system. He just wants to be, I don't know, rich or powerful, whatever it is they're getting out of this. What he's going to be is, I guess, hated and convicted instead. So that backfired.
Well, yes, yeah. So don't be part of the evil sect there, right? The funds are clean and clear. They're being transferred in. There's no problem with them. They're coming from the Pentagon, right? Why are you stopping them? Because somebody calls you, right? On a burner phone. Dan, how shady is it, right? Here's a burner phone. If they call,
I think I don't want to miss the point. So here, let's role play. I want you to pretend to be Steve Mnuchin, and I'm the banker. I pick up the phone. Now, give me your best threat as to what I have to do.
Okay.
What are you going to call me and say? If you're Steve Mnuchin, what do you say?
Ring, ring.
Here, I'll give you an example.
Ring, ring.
Ring. Hi. This is Steve Mnuchin.
I thought I'm Steve Mnuchin.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Mnuchin. I'm fine.
Oh.
Over. You win. The whole world goes free. Now tell me you did it. You can do it. You can do it.
Oh, I was going to go for the this is the devil's grandmother.
devil's grandmother.
Yeah, I've got some news for you. That money coming through, don't let it go through. You know, this is really some bad people out there. You know, I know it says it's clean and clear. That was from the Pentagon, but you know, there's some bad people behind it. Just don't let it go through. Hello.
Don't believe it.
Hello.
Prove it.
Hello.
Exactly. Dial tone. Exactly. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Dial tone. Sorry, my phone died. Didn't work out. I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Anything.
Oh, the phone.
Own your
the burner
humanity.
phone fell
Own
into
your humanity.
it fell into my big gulp.
Yeah, like, oh, they burst in right when you said something. I had to let it clear. The Pentagon showed up, and they had guns right at that moment.
Yeah, well, I've got someone here with a gun to my head. They're in military. They've got like a lot of stars on his shoulder. Oh, you know, I'm not listening to you.
That's it. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to change the world. So I'm not sure who's who now. So guys, if anybody calls in, if anybody wants to call in and ask questions tonight, it's going to be a really, really busy week. I always fully expect these funds to come through, but right now we've got just a few people, and the most formidable military force on our side, the most formidable human being on the planet on our side, and the leader of the free world who just might as well have just lit a torch to the United Nations agreement to demilitarize or disarm us, right? So it's going to be a very, very exciting week. So I expect lots of news to come out every single day. So if you call in right now, if you want to ask any questions, now's the time. The number is 646-721-9771. And I'm going to go to 479 right now. And hopefully you're paying attention so I don't hear a whole bunch of other stuff. Hang on. King? Hey, King. 479, are you there? Hello? Yeah, King. What's happening? How much is this? Yeah, this is Louis. I can hear you. Go ahead. Okay. Hey, Louis. Actually, I'm fine, King. You know me we've texted each other, but I'm Native American Indian, and I'm fixing to call my people in Ada, Oklahoma tomorrow and see if they're on board with this or if they've even known anything about it. Do you have any words of advice for me to give them? Because I know that the Hawaiians are getting on board. Of course, Tui and the Aborigines are getting on. I was just wondering if, what should I tell them? I could give you some advice, sure. There was an incident where we were before my time working on this, when Kim was, initially just kind of learning some things, and she was trying to bring in some money to some of the tribes for different things. And she got blocked and got held up. And so in their mind, it's because she didn't do her part. And so they look at it like she's shady, right? Because there were so many people working against us. Well, working against her at that time. And so I want to give you that warning up front in case of, hey, wait, we dealt with her. There was some things like that, but that wasn't on her. She's had to completely take over the banking system. So we're very, very short to that success, very, very close to that success. She has brought money into countries all over the world at this point, and she is the only one who's really bringing in funds because she's the only one who has access to the true assets on the planet. So as far as if you're talking to them, I would say just bring them on the show or bring them on the broadcast. You can give my number directly. If you've texted me, know that I haven't talked to anybody. And I generally, to be honest, it's always better to kind of feel the vibe of somebody, and align yourself with their frequency. I can't tell you do X, Y, or Z. But I'm saying bring them on and they can judge for themselves. Okay, they just sent me. We get an update book. It has all the agencies that's because they have their own government, So, do I want to go to the Department of Treasury through them, or do I want to talk to? I
like they put my daughter through college and stuff like that, you know. So
What tribe? What nation?
it's Chickasaw. We were
Chickasaw?
one of the five civilized tribes that were on the Trail of Tears, you know. So, but yeah, they put her through college and stuff, and she did very well through that. And, she became a teacher. So, but I've never really dealt with them directly because I had her mom do that through my bloodline, you know. So.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But yeah.
Well,
so
I mean,
I really don't know what.
I got to tell you, the tribes. I mean, as you know, right? In my experience, tribes are very, very hard to gain their trust because they don't trust many people. If you do them wrong, if you do them wrong by accident, even you're usually, you know, you're iced, you're done, right? So I would recommend, you know, you and I can talk about this and we can discuss a game plan about how to talk to them and what's the best way, and identify, you know, leaders within the nation that are, you know, that would be the best people to talk to.
Yeah, I have names.
It's Chickasaw, you said?
Yeah, Chickasaw.
Tribe? Now, if there's anybody out there from the Chickasaw Nation who's there active, you know, in the government body there, and you need funding for something, please, I advise you, or I would let you know that we are available to, you know, to talk to you about that, potentially, you know, provide that funding. Now we're not there now at this moment. We're not distributing funds yet, but I would have to believe, you know, let's say in the next 3 months, that's very, very reasonable, and that's real money. That's not, you know, just promised lies. We won't take a commission or a fee from you in some way, so we're not motivated to try to make money off of you.
This is not for me. It's for my peoples. It's not for me. I ain't really looking to get, you know. I've been staying up.
I know you're not.
A long time.
No,
they helped me out. Yeah, I'm trying to give back what they've given to my daughter, at least, you know. So.
Well, they're gonna, you know, it's tough especially with the Native Americans. You know, they've been. It's just so hard to trust them. And it's so hard to trust anyone outside of, you know, their immediate group, and they don't know who to believe. You know, like the pipeline that's running down through North Dakota and South Dakota, right right along the riverbed there, right? Now, that's a horrible move. It's a horrible move. They've been at war about this, you know, essentially for a long time. And it was just a couple of years ago that you had the soldiers who were there who literally, you know, were forced to hurt these Native Americans, and they were protesting the building of this pipeline. And the soldiers, many of the soldiers went back after they were veterans. They realized what happened, and they went back and they apologized. I can't remember what they tried to. I want to say Lacomi, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember that. But it was about 2 years ago, right? Yeah, with the pipeline going through there, and they were protesting.
Right, but then, you know, one of the things that happens is that if you remember, the pipeline was stopped. For a while, and that was because Kim stopped the funding. You know, because that wasn't. I didn't know that. Yeah, people did not know that. She stopped it, so it was stopped. But then something else happened, and they I don't know.
Yeah, we got a lot of
make up their own minds.
Yeah, my grandfather fought World War I. He full-blooded.
Wow.
He fought in World War I. It was quite an amazing thing.
Yeah, I've got Iroquois on both sides of my family. I grew up in an old, an old town that used to be a Native American town upstate.
I've got Cherokee on my side.
My hometown is Horseheads. yeah. It's Cherokee and
okay.
All right.
Well, like I said, I'll text you tomorrow or something, and I'll just leave you a message. I know you're real busy and stuff, so if you can get back to me, maybe you can just cancel.
Don't ever assume I'm busy. Like, if you text me, I'll respond as fast as I can. Oh, New York. Sorry about that. I will respond, but anybody who wants to reach out to me, Believe me, I'm grown. You can call. If I can't talk, I won't answer. If we're on the phone, you don't have to tell me like I know you're busy. Listen, yes, you're right. I'm busy. I will tell you because you might have the missing piece that everybody needs. So don't hesitate. If you have my number, you can call. For now, I mean, because that's going to change. But right now, I'm still doing all I can to make sure I can kind of keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on with the people. And I'm always going to keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on with people. I just don't know if I'll always be able to do it this way. So right now, call, text. Hey, text me first.
Yeah.
Definitely. Don't worry about that. So we'll talk tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Thanks, Hank.
Bye. No, I was saying I have Cherokee on my mother's side, going back to the time of Daniel.
Oh, yeah?
Time of Daniel Boone. And he was his.
So you get more than Pocahontas then, right?
Yeah, I got more than Pocahontas, definitely. So I'm only going back like three grandfathers or something like that. So
well, when you went to college, you should have been a man of color when you did that.
I didn't know how to do something along those lines, but I always appreciated it. My uncle told me the stories. He had actually traced our family back and got that information. So I'm a little kid when he's telling me. He passed away, and then his wife, threw out all of that research. And I've always said, oh, maybe I should go back and research that again, but I never did. But I knew that he told me the stories and from that time.
Yeah, I was lucky. My mother kept the roll going, so that's where I was fortunate there. My dad was half and quarters, so. But she kept that blood going, so I kept it going with my child. So, and it paid off big time. I mean, so I got no gripes. I just want to try to help the people out. That's all.
Yeah,
they got to have something.
It's really hard.
I mean,
it's hard. It's hard to get into it.
Well, I think that's.
They don't trust many people.
I'm sorry. I was saying I think that my psychic side comes from the Cherokee.
It may. Maybe you got some shamanism.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's, but that's.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say with the tribes. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be. I've moved up the West Coast and I'm back east now. I'm in Georgia, so the Chickasaw Nation's up in Tennessee through the old lands, into Mississippi, but they're all in Ada, Oklahoma now. They all got moved, I don't hold no grudges or nothing. I mean, what's happened is happened. We just got to move on.
Yeah, that's the thing is that they use that stuff to divide us, and that's our the main tool against us. So we have to just come together as one people on the planet.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've got some geographic issues.
Trouble, man.
We got geographic issues. That's okay.
Right.
We need to say we all want we all want clean air, water, and food. And let's start there.
Like Thomas says, how can you be an alien on your own planet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would love it. I'd love to get somebody from Hopi Nation on here and talk about the Hopi legends, because they talk about this, which is a very real thing, the split in the earth and this whole reconfiguration of the coastline and things of that nature. Which is that's part of the reason why they would have justified the five regions of the planet. Now, I know something about that, though. I can tell you that that's not going to happen because the stabilization of the energy on the planet. So, but the Rainbow Warriors talked about. I think that goes back to a couple different, several different tribes.
Well, here's a question.
I think that's all happening right now. I think
one of the questions coming from the super chat on YouTube is, do you know which tribe signed the peace treaty? I assume they mean the one from 16,000 years ago. Was it one of the Native American tribes? I guess would be the Red.
They started in on the Cherokee, I believe, is where they started in on, because they were Appalachians, so, they were East Coast, so everything around here, Georgia, all Cherokee, everything, you go into southern, South Carolina, it's all Cherokee,
Cherokee, okay.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I believe too. You said it was somewhere further up in the
up north
in the Canadian region,
closer to Plymouth. Yeah, but that's where Pocahontas came from and stuff. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the tribe though.
But I was contacted by. I do have a contact, with somebody from that tribe actually, who contacted me years before I knew about any of this. By the way, and they told me that the most valued asset and the most sought after individual is this one woman who is the missing link from that tribe. So that's all I'm gonna say at that. But I'm just saying they were very secretive about it. That was years before I ever knew about all this.
Isn't that lady that's on top of the White House? The Indian lady that's on top of the White House? Who's that? I can't forget. There's a lady up there on top of the White House. She's a statue up there, and I can't remember her name. Who's that? Oh gosh, there's a statue. Yeah, a female Indian. She's on top of the White House. She's a statue up there.
By Indian, you mean like Native American Indian?
Yeah, Native American.
Okay,
God dang
sorry,
it.
I don't want to be.
Yeah, if you look into it, I can't remember. God, for the life of me, I think Kevin Costner covered it on the 500 Nations when he did that show. Wow. I'm not sure. I can't remember now, but
I'll say,
statue of.
Now we're gonna have to look it up. We'll find it out.
I'm looking it up.
yeah, it's there though. Yeah, there's an Indian lady there, and they got some kind of something to do with it. Yeah,
It says
she's
the
on top of
statue.
White House. It's a statue that's up there.
It says the Statue of
And
Freedom.
it's a Native.
Yeah,
There
Armed
you go.
Freedom or Sympathy of Freedom is a bronze statue designed by Thomas Crawford, 1814 to 1857. Crowned the dome of the U.S. Capitol building in Washington.
No, it's a U.S. building. Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought it was the White House.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what if she does look Indian, definitely. I'm just trying to see if they say where she's from.
Yeah, it might be the lady that Tank's talking about, though. I'm pretty sure.
She's female. Allegorical figure, which the right hand holds the hilt from the sheathed sword, while the laurel wreath of victory and the shield of the United States.
Yep, that's her.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have in the capital in Oklahoma. There's a picture of one of my great grandfathers right now.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? That's pretty interesting stuff. Hey, Lewis, I appreciate the call. We'll talk in touch tomorrow or sooner, all right? Talk to you later, man.
Okay, be good.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm just bringing it up on the YouTube so people can see it. It's out of Wikipedia. Yeah. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there's some amazing things about the whole all the different cultures. This is what I really hope the groups down in Australia and other places, that they have the true records, to really give an accurate timeline and connection with all these different things. I mean, Dan has shared with us like he was in a Egyptian tomb in Illinois.
Yeah.
Right. Like we know that there is records of the original Hebrew law written in Aramaic on the stones, older than the Dead Sea Scrolls in I don't know if it's New Mexico or Arizona, but it's out there.
Well, let me clarify something. I was not in the tomb. We were at the site of where the tomb was supposedly at, and they were trying to dig it out. I never got to be inside the tomb. I wish I was able to, but we didn't really find the entrance, though. There was some speculation. The thing is that it was on a private farmer's land, and there was no permission for these guys to excavate when I got there, right? So they even set off charges and did seismic and had some pictures of what was underground, and there were structures underground according to the seismic. So it's very interesting. But I did see lots of artifacts from that were taken from there in this area of Illinois. But it's throughout the whole region, right? And it's basically that they had gone up the Mississippi River, and so all the way along the Mississippi, there was a trade route. And the Egyptians actually, traded with the Native American groups along the way. Was well known.
So, in these two stories that Dan and I are telling right now, in my version, I would have told you how Dan rappelled down into a pit to be part of these artifacts. In his version, he was going up to gift shops in Illinois. But regardless.
I did go to some gift shops with these roadside museums. I did go there, but the more interesting stuff was in the garage of the woman partner of Russell Burroughs. Russell was the one that discovered them, and he was the one that. And it was a great name, right? For a character in a film, but it's real. Russell Burroughs. He like burrowing underground. Right?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So, but his partner ended up dead, and the wife accused Russell of it. Right. So that's what she was. She showed us these bank records from the gold that they stashed away in Switzerland, and so both. Yeah. And so they couldn't gain access to that gold in Switzerland because they were at odds with one another, because it was opened up in both of the partners' names, right? So the wife wouldn't cooperate with Russell, and Russell wouldn't cooperate with her, and so they were each waiting for the other one to die. Of course, I have no idea if any of them died or anything happened after that. That was back in like 2000. 2001.
Now, I love to look at the methodology used, right? So first of all, Switzerland is a stronghold for the cabal, right? It is so much under the Rothschild control that they are able to stay neutral in every war. That's not because they're such a peace-loving people. It's because the whole country's on such lockdown, right?
Well,
many different people.
Everyone in Switzerland is required to have a machine gun in their home. It's required.
Wow, that's.
So if they have any invaders coming in, everyone is armed with machine guns.
Wow, I bet you they have no violence though either.
Very low.
Perpetuated by the Rothschilds who.
Very, very, very low problems with people attacking others with guns, because you end up dead.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, if you know I'm packing a machine gun, you are probably gonna think twice before.
Yeah, and it's the law.
Well,
it's kind of like in France, you're required to have a yellow vest in your car.
That's almost the same. Yeah.
Almost the same. Yeah. But it is a weapon now, right? They've weaponized the yellow vest against the government. Right. So everyone's
I think it's great what they're. I mean.
Yeah. Amazing.
At the end of the day, it's all about what gets results. I don't see what right now. I'm looking before I ever advise anybody to do anything. I want to know what's going to get results. So I look at what's going to get results right now in this transition led by the people to actually reclaim our rights as creators, as liberated, sovereign beings of this planet. What is the most valuable asset to us, right? And it's our ideas, it's our soft resistance. You talk about Gandhi a little bit. I thought that was good. That's a good way to go.
Yeah.
To talk about ways to resist using. Gandhi obviously went down a path, probably endorsed the wrong horse, right, for communism, which is why I think you can't just be. You got to have a little edge to you, in my opinion. You can't just hug this thing away, right?
Right. Well, Gandhi had to
stout position.
Yeah, Gandhi had to go on a hunger strike for that to happen, right? It was his hunger strike that got people to say eat, and he said everyone has to just stop supporting them and tell them to go out the door, just non-cooperate, stop cooperating. So that's what it took for Gandhi to make something happen. So, we have YouTube. we can make videos. Come on, people, make videos. Get the information out there.
Studies show that people on a near starvation diet actually live a lot longer. So I think Gandhi was setting them up a little bit, right? Making it look a little more desperate than it was. But that's just me.
Yeah, I forgot how many
smart
days.
move, though.
But
he doing something that's good for your health. You're fasting.
Yeah, he was
And
definitely.
he was already a frail little dude, so.
Yeah. Well, that's why he got an episode. Actually, I forgot how many days, but it was quite a significant number of days that he was starving.
Yeah,
I'm looking it up now.
That's a hard path to keep. But you know what? I feel like if we went on a hunger strike, Dan, I don't think it would hurt people. I think people would be like, "Wow, you guys look great."
Yeah, I know.
It's probably the best thing for you. I can probably use a hunger strike.
Yeah.
But but I do think resistance, or just not participating. That non-participation. I do not contract with you. I do not agree to pulling me over. I do not agree to the terms of this. We have to find ways to take more stands in a manner that's in harmony with the world we do want to create, right? So now I'm all disheveled from all the different things trying to get us on the road today. So I see the Cabals, they've done a good job of getting me off track a little bit, but that's okay. So we started talking about the Iron Mountain agenda, right? And their options to war. And I think this is really significant. I don't know if you heard me read it, but it's talking about slavery. And they talked about a more modern, sophisticated version of slavery. So what do you think? Are we in that now? You think that
of course
this is what sophisticated slavery looks like?
Oh yeah, it's the gilded cage is built. We agree to go into it, and we keep contracting, right? So keep through free will to keep associating with it. Sign here. Are you this trustee of this account? Are you the all caps entity trustee?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
No, I'm not the trustee, and I'm not that all caps entity. I'm not that. So anyway, I know that there's some different versions of this, and that's why there should be a department that Trump should set up in the government that explains what the rules are. This is how it is. This is the truth. Not hidden, not in several giant pieces that are all over the place and that they change everything. Oh, this is it. And oh, by the way, would you like to opt out? Just click here. It should be something that's very simplified so that people can understand what it is and then make the choice to remove themselves from that participation. Do not participate. Do not contract. That's the Gandhi style. Let's do this Gandhi style.
Let's do this Gandhi style.
Yeah.
So
what's that?
Okay,
What's
so
that?
that's
The Korean song? Was it Gangnam style? Gangnam style. Yeah. We should redo that into Gandhi style.
Yeah, well, my kids were killing that dance for a while.
Oh yeah.
So I'll tell you this too. I know that I've been getting contacted by. It's amazing. My town, it's 5 miles long. I live outside the city. There is more medical emergencies when I'm on the phone than anybody. I mean, literally, there's nonstop sirens. I always have to hide from them. But anyway, but my military contacts, all types of from different directions, have been hitting me up, and they are definitely engaged and realize what's happened, and they're and they are apparently I was talking to one of my guys back and forth, and I'm like, look, I'm looking to light a spark with those guys and girls who have really been fighting for the people, and they've gone to various places around the world to do all types of things. They've been trained, and there's a code, and there's honor in that, right? And there's something to be said about that. There's something to be said about those guys, and I'm happy to get as many of them home as possible, and I'm happy that the Pentagon has finally come on board, and I want to encourage all those guys, girls. I'm going to tell them how much I appreciate all that they've had to do, and I can't tell them how much I appreciate what they are to us right now. Because right now, there was a post out today, and Q said that the U.S. military is the salvation of humanity. Now,
yes,
I've said before that I think the AI aspect of Q has always been a quantum system. So I think there's a part of that, and it's been used for various methodology of awakening people and different information. That's just my theory on that. No one has to believe me. I'm not trying to sell it to you. It's just me. But you know what? It will be because the Pentagon came on board that humanity will be liberated. And because we needed that. All of humanity needed them to be on the right side of the war.
So let me ask you, Tank. Do you think any of your military? You think any of your military people will come on board? And I'm sorry. I said that. Come on to the broadcast with us.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. I'll bring them in as. Matter of fact, if anybody's out there who wants to come on and share something going on right now, you're more than welcome. I know I've got people that are, one of our people is who has been dealing with some things with their PTSD because of her service. She's out there with a group of her guys right now.
Where's
she's got some pretty amazing.
As I say, where does General Dunford come down now? What side is he on? Is he on the Cabal side, or is he GCR? Where is he at?
I mean, he fought us tooth and nail with everything we did for a long time, But before that, Dunford he used to give me information. He gave me very good advice, So I can't say I can't speak to that.
Right.
But I'll say this: because the Pentagon's on our side, I won't speak against them either, because I don't know. I don't know. It has never been my intent to speak against any of these guys, except for when I knew specific information that they were part of. That was the only time I ever said anything about it. And only because, it's like you got to call these guys. Now these guys are accountable, though. I mean, usually, right? They're not the kind of people that when they're wrong, they're going to keep lying.
Right.
Or at least I'd like to think so. So.
Well, General Dunford's welcome to come on the broadcast. So if you're out there and you'd like to join us, we'll bring you on.
I can tell you that. Well, it probably will not happen though. But if anybody wants to come on anonymously, you guys are welcome to come on. You guys are welcome to call. You know the number. You know the number.
Yeah, even well, I'll take the cabal members can come on. That they can come on and say, hey, this is why they can explain why killing off 90% of the people is a good thing for them.
Well, I'll tell you this. They were part of the reason why this happened, right, is because it's known that the planet, right, was set to have this planetary shift, like the tectonic plates were going to shift in a massive way, and it would divide the planet up into different regions, right? So one of our people who is a veteran, she was stationed up in St. Louis. She told me that that they used to always train for this. What if there was an earthquake that divided up the United States, and you could communicate with other sides of this great divide that would happen, right? The power would be out. What would you do? And they used to do their drills on a regular basis up in St. Louis all the time that way, right? Because they were planning for that event.
Well, it sounds like fear programming.
Educated in what was going to happen.
Sounds like just fear programming. That they're just more fear programming. To create the energy vibration for that to happen. I think that. Yeah,
that's true. In part, but I do believe that was. I mean, it's known. I mean, this is scientific. More than anything, it's based on the science that was available to people. This is what they knew, right?
Yeah.
But and the reason why I mentioned it is that's how you could justify to the military, right? That hey, look, we have to do this. We're going to have this, genocidal whatever. Because it's going to be chaos, so that would make sense, right? But that event actually would have happened. I mean, that actually would have happened. But because of what Kim has done, she can put back the actual the rods of the planet that will actually stabilize the torus field of the energy. It will stabilize the actual tectonic plates of the planet, and that's well underway from my understanding. So, but that's always one of the things they talk about, Jared Rand would talk about how we should be colonizing other planets, and there's a whole big thing about how the coastlines will look different and different fractures will happen. I'm not that familiar with it, but I mean I've learned enough about it over the years to see like that was something that was believed like that's absolute, that's going to happen. And, I mean people would come on and tell us not to even buy houses near the coastline, right? Because there's not going to be a coast.
Yeah. I've heard it. Yeah, I said, it's time to buy.
Probably told us about flat Earth.
Yeah, you got to buy property in Nevada, right, in Vegas. This is where the new shoreline is going to be right around here. So yeah, it's a.
I figure by the time that goes down, we'll have a city in the sky. I'm gonna, we'll work it out. We'll just land after everything's settled down.
Yeah, I just need to get that new metal that floats. Floating metal, anti-gravity metal. I can see that.
Well, this is part of the reason why, like, the Chinese were building ghost cities, right?
Yeah.
They were building ghost cities all over because they were preparing for the overpopulation. I mean, not the overpopulation, for the mass migration away from the shorelines into these ghost cities.
Yeah, I've heard different things. I've heard that they were getting them ready so that the people in Japan could evacuate because of the nuclear problem that happened there. That they would have to evacuate all of Japan. So that was one of the reasons. I don't know. It's hard to know, but yeah, they are. I've driven through those areas where there's all these buildings, and they built them all up. 5 buildings of the same look, and then right next to it is like there's 3 buildings of the same look, and they're all vacant. Just all look good.
Wow.
But
interesting.
There's no. Yeah, it's like and I ask why, and it's future planning, right? They're planning for the future, right? But now they're having a problem with their planning. They planned only one child, right? So now they have a problem. They can't their population doesn't support their growth. So they're going to have a big problem. Now they're going to want to make sure that everyone now has 2 kids. So it's.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They got this, right? No, you can't plan this. There's a natural balance, right? That's God's law, nature's law, common law. You can't make law to regulate the population. It's already regulated by the spirit, by our essence. It regulates how many boys and how many girls there's going to be. And there's only 2 genders, in case you didn't know. I mean, this is a little amazing. I see that these people that are out there, they can't answer the question, how many genders there are? Wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up. There's only 2.
All this stuff,
Listen, even the very few hermaphrodites that are born in the world, I don't know what the number is, 1 in 100 million. I don't know what it's 100. I don't know what that number is. But there are people born with both sets of genitalia, no doubt. And you could say that they're both genders. But then they're also given the choice to choose one. So, but that's an aberration. That's an aberration. It's something that happens. But it's not something, that you need to change society to make, a 3rd bathroom. Or 5. No. We have another bathroom for those that are confused. The confused bathroom. You don't even get a toilet when you're in there. There's just a hole in the ground.
Figure it out.
You got to figure it out. Yeah. Waste in the hole. Oh well.
Yeah.
Well, little levity.
Anyways, so now the big movement, right? That they're really pressing on, that we're that we need to focus on the radical white supremacist movement. There is not a white supremacist movement. Just because there's white people in the United States, who are conservative, doesn't mean there's a white supremacist movement.
Well,
that's the new call.
I wasn't even aware that the white population has been under assault for so many years that it actually has decreased. But I think Thomas said it was 20-some percent less.
Oh, much more than that, yeah.
What is
much
it?
More.
You know
much
what it is?
I want to say that the white population has been reduced. Gosh, I can't. I don't want to inaccurately represent it.
Yeah, I know.
But I want to say it's more like 40%. I mean, it's a big number. I mean, like, would you really be surprised? And white people are the actual minority.
So now, if you're white and you want to, make that an issue and say, well, by the way, white people, we need to marry other white people and have kids with other white people so we don't disappear, then you would be considered a white supremacist. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And
right.
Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's funny. The training on that is so ingrained. Like, even now, I would never brag about being white. I mean, just like my whole life, I never, it's like, everybody around me in my hometown was white, but then I've been everywhere, all types of places since, or that's not the case, but like, I still, it's always been trained in me, not to be, you can't brag or be proud to be white or anything like that, right?
And you can't, color, and I heard now that if you say white lives matter, that's a racial slur. If you say white lives matter.
Why isn't the reverse true?
Yeah.
Black lives matter?
Right, because none of their rhetoric makes any sense, right? If you think about if you go just by the emotion, right, which is what they want you to do, just emotionally, right? Just from your emotion, you're going to decide that this is bad or good. but without thinking about what the words mean or what is being said. I don't think that any race should disappear from the face of the earth.
Right.
Or actually, I should say, we're all human of the human race. When I did the census, I remember the last one that I participated in. I put it said what race. I put other. No, not other, but other, but human. I wrote in human.
Yeah, like white is not a. It's not a race.
I mean, we're all one race. It's just we have different amounts of. We covered this before. Melanin in our skin. Albinos have none.
Yeah.
Right. And then the darkest will have the most. But then we have the people that are the blue skin people, right? That have an odd disease that made them blue color. And they can exist. It's all right. If there's green and purple, that's also okay. Doesn't matter.
Right. Blue lives matter. All lives matter. All lives matter.
Oh, there we go.
It's a teaspoon. A teaspoon of melanin between an albino and the I used to example the Newt Bowl, which is like a 7 foot tall, maybe 8 foot tall basketball player. So dark. He was from a tribe in Africa, and he was really, really dark. But I'm like, it's a teaspoon of melanin between those two colors.
I've known some Indians from India. That were so dark. I mean, literally, they were darker than anyone that I've ever known. So it just doesn't matter really. Africa, but there's dark people everywhere. In the world. It's just the amount of melanin in your skin. So.
I know. It's to a point like people are so afraid, especially white people. White people are terrified to talk about race, right? And they don't ever want to talk about race because they don't want to sound like a racist, which I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. But like, you got to be able to
I'm racist about those who claim to be racists.
Say again, then you broke up.
I said I'm racist towards those who claim to be racist.
Yeah, I mean,
circular argument, right?
And everybody tried to paint Trump. First of all, anybody who ever it's almost impossible to be racist in New York, right? It's like you really grew up here, because it's such a culture. I mean, Queens is the most culturally diverse county in the entire world, right? It's just normal. Like it doesn't, for the most part, you just can't be racist because you're going to do business and have interactions with all types of people. Just going to be normal, which should be normal.
Well, don't you?
The cultural differences we have is what makes people amazing.
So do you have men's, women's rooms and queens?
Men's and women's groups?
Do you have restrooms that are men's and women's and queens?
Oh, yeah. Well, now it's got to the point where nobody even has men's and women's rooms anymore. It's just kind of gender neutral. It's like 3 bathrooms, they're all gender neutral.
Oh, general neutral. Okay.
Like a family bathroom.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, let's just get rid of all genders, right? The ultimate solution is there in New York. There you go.
The ultimate solution.
No more genders.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, I guess I think our topic of conversation has degraded, and also very bad jokes are coming. So.
I think our jokes are hilarious, but
okay. I think we're stretching them a little bit thin here.
All the place. That's fine.
We have any more callers?
I don't know.
I did pass the link to Tui, but I haven't heard from Tui.
Nope.
I know.
Today, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Well,
and you know what? This week should be filled with big events because you have Fiji is ready to go on strike. Kim did let me know that they would need a comprehensive business plan for strategy. So Tui is getting that to me as soon as possible. We have the Pentagon that is on our side. We have President Trump on our side. And, the men and women trust on our side. And I am in full belief that we are breaking through as we speak, and these things are all operational and in place. And you know what? We're finally going to have our chance to liberate humanity and go out and do amazing things. So I think that's the next goal. I think the soft resistance, strong by Dan, is the way to go. And I think that's where we're at, man.
Yeah, we're
finally press forward that way.
Yeah, I think we're getting in the right direction. I'm really happy we're at the point where you've got a couple of people left to deal with, and can't they they block Hillary's phone calls? Should just put her in an envelope where she can't talk. They call the banks. There's some countermeasures that can be done here. I mean, if they can turn off my button here so that I can't come on to Blog Talk Radio, they can stop Hillary from making a phone call. Her, drain her battery.
I know. It's all here.
Yeah.
But man, they're messing with my stuff. Yeah, they just put me off Blog Talk Radio altogether.
Oh, you off?
Locked me out of the system. No, I'm on. We're still broadcasting, but they just, for some reason, they just nonstop issues today. They wanted us to be derails. I can tell. It's all good.
Yeah.
But that's all right. We'll have that news tomorrow night. We'll have breaking news tomorrow evening that I expect us to bring out. So, with that in mind, everybody stay the course, and we're out of here. You know the deal. No retreat, no surrender. Dan, you have a good night. All right.
All right. So, bye, Tank. I'll close down here on YouTube side. Just say the final goodbyes. And see how to take care of this. We have the transition music. Find out here and here. There we go. So, I closed out. That was definitely a workaround. Thank you all for participating. I'm still here on YouTube for just I have a few thoughts to say goodbye. Unless someone wants to put a question in, and I'll check the chat if there's any questions. You can just put a Q and then whatever the question is afterwards. But I just say that we have a big impact on what we're doing. We're making a difference. Participation is the key. Coming together. So that's part of what we're talking about. Ignore the differences, because they really don't matter. What matters is where we want the same things. We want, I love that Tank boiled it down to, let's agree about, clean food, water, and air. And that's a great place to start. And then, of course, it's easy to add on from there, right? Clean living places, right? I know that there's big problems in Hawaii. No one can live there. It's too expensive. They're literally removing the people by making it so expensive to live there that everyone has to leave. Sorry. Well, I'll have to call him back in a moment. One of the things is we're in this at a point where there is so much happening that if we just take a little bit of effort, that will magnify. So just do that. Make some small steps, and that we will all get there at the same time. And anyway, share this link, subscribe, give your thumbs up, please share the link. I say copy and paste it, move it into your social networks, move it into your WhatsApp, move it in. Just paste it. Take 15 minutes. You can cover 100 spaces in 15 minutes just sending it out. No, it does take a little effort. I appreciate it. Tank appreciates it, and we get that information. It's a wave that's happening. And those of you that are out there in the system, switch sides. Come to the side of the light. You were down the path of darkness, even if you didn't know it. Time to come back to the light. And with that, I say, talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.